From traditional French-Canadian cuisine to Quebec diner classics. Today, I'm bringing you to my hometown of Quebec City to uncover its most iconic dishes and the best spots where you can try them. Ready? Allons-y. When people come to eat in Quebec City, they often think one thing, Poutine. But as a food tour guide, I like to show you that there's so much more traditional food to discover here. For example, I would bring you to La Bûche in Old Quebec City to taste one of Quebec's oldest and most unique culinary tradition, what I would call the traditional sugar shack cuisine. La Bûche is really the only restaurant that recreates this super unique sugar shack style banquet year-round. So you can taste all these traditional Québécois dishes drenched in the liquid gold, such as Tourtière, the ultimate French-Canadian lumberjack comfort food. Traditionally made with venison, potatoes, and savory broth, today it's really rare to find, but La Bûche serves it with traditional fruit ketchup, just like a Québécois grandma would, Fêves au Lard, or baked beans with pork and maple syrup. This was the ultimate staple sustaining French Canadians, or as they were known back then, Canadians, during their long seasons working in lumber camps deep in the forests. Also don't miss le Cretons, because the food in New France was more than just beans. The French brought over pork also. You spread it on toast with a little bit of mustard, and that, my friends, is the authentic taste of a typical Québécois morning.
Essaye ça. Ça coûte pas cher, c'est des vraies affaires. Ça vient de chez nous, tu te tromperas pas.
So what about dessert? How about some more maple syrup? With 70% of the world's maple syrup coming from Canada and Quebec supplying no less than 90% of this, you can imagine this sweet nectar is integral to the region's cuisine. Aside from dousing it in all the aforementioned food, there's also maple sugar pies, maple salad dressing, maple in everything. But in case that's not enough, we also eat it pure. This is maple taffee, or tire d'érable, a boiled and reduced maple syrup poured onto snow. It's a chewy, sweet treat that everyone loves to enjoy outside after the typical sugar shack feast. There's lots more delicious spots I'm going to take you to in this video, and if you want to try some of the dishes in this list and more, and fully immerse yourself in Quebec City's food culture, I highly recommend the Old Quebec City Food and Drink Tour, who also happen to be the sponsors of this video. This tour takes you to 5 different spots, offering a deep dive into both traditional and modern Quebec cuisine, all while being guided by an expert local guide who shares insights on the dishes and their cultural significance. It's the easiest and most enjoyable way to explore the city's culinary landscape, all while learning about Quebec's history. I even recommend this tour to my friends and family when they visit Quebec City. So to you watching this video, I organized a special promo code that you can use in the link in the description below to book the tour and get a sweet discount. So thank you to local Quebec City Food and Drink Tours for being my first sponsor on this channel. Now, back to the video. I hope you're still hungry, because now I'm going to take you to a place that's very special and close to my heart, Buffet de l'Antiquaire. It's a lovely walk through the Old Port and St. Paul Street. Buffet de l'Antiquaire is without a doubt the best spot to taste a huge variety of traditional family-style French-Canadian dishes. This is the real deal. Nothing is reworked or revisited. This feels really like dishes that would come directly out of the cookbook of Maman Dion herself. Take Ragoût de Boulettes, or pork and meatball stew, for example. I always want to have another bite. And no wonder that the French word ragoût comes from regoûter, which means to taste again. But soon the food here would change. The British conquest in 1763 changed everything. As British culture started to establish itself, so did its cuisine. Cipaille. No fish, no seafood, but pork and meat pies that the British Navy would pack with them on long voyages at sea. The name was then misunderstood by French Canadians who thought it meant six pâtes, or 6 pastries. This misunderstanding is why layers would be added to this deep layered meat and potato pie that is traditionally baked for up to 10 hours in a large pot, making it ideal for feeding many. But to feed all these mouths and to overcome economic hardships, many left the province in hopes of finding work. In doing so, they found a dish that would become cooked at least once a week in every French-Canadian family up to this very day. Pâté Chinois, or Chinese pie in English. It's a simple combination of ground beef, creamed corn, and mashed potatoes. There is nothing Chinese in the Chinese pie. The name Pâté Chinois, or Chinese pie, comes to us from nowhere else than the USA. With millions of French-Canadian migrants moving to New England in the 1800s, many settled in Maine, where they found a town called China. There they were introduced to the English shepherd's pie and added the American ingredient of corn. The dish became known as le pâté de China, or the pie from China, and hence le pâté chinois was born. In the 1930s, there's a whole new type of cuisine which emerged in Quebec, heavily influenced by the United States, but with its own very unique dishes: Quebec fast food. To try them, let me take you to Diner Saint-Sauveur. This isn't your typical diner. The menu features bold, reimagined versions of Quebec diner classics in a funky, retro punk atmosphere. Try their take on hot chicken, for example, where pulled chicken is smothered in the surplus gravy that diners had from their ragoût, along with some green peas just to make it healthy. Here they take it one step further by frying the chicken and replacing the bread with a full-on grilled cheese sandwich. And it's in this fusion between American and French cuisine where Canada's most famous dish was born. You see where I'm getting at? Head to the Saint-Jean-Baptiste neighborhood. Here, you'll find lots of bars, lots of students, and one institution that's been feeding late-night crowds for years, Snack Bar Saint-Jean. And since we're here to understand the origins of Poutine, I want to introduce you to its older cousin, the Galvaude. This dish was on the menus of Quebec snack bars long before Poutine was invented. Galvaude starts with fries, but instead of the cheese, you add chicken to the mix. Top it with a healthy amount of gravy and peas for color, and voila! The origins of an icon.
J'adore la poutine. J'en mange souvent de la poutine.
C'est le fromage, j'aime dessus.
Moi, je viens ici parce qu'il y a de la saucisse dedans.
J'aime super gros le fromage, là, tu en mets des gros morceaux, là. La sauce dessus, super bonne.
I want to take you to eat poutine at my absolute favorite spot in Quebec City. Pâté Rétro is a local hidden secret that also happens to be the favorite poutine of none other than the holy patron saint of Quebec, Céline Dion. Open since 1983, Céline and her late husband René Angeline used to come here all the time when they were in town. So consider it a pilgrimage trip. The poutine here is great, and I'll tell you why. The fries are made from fresh potatoes in-house. The fromage squeak is fresh and squeaky, abundant, and in big, cheesy chunks that won't melt when you top it off with a delicious gravy. Especially paired with a club sandwich and their in-house mayonnaise, it doesn't get any better than this. And believe it or not, while I've been eating poutine here since I was a kid, at that time it didn't exist in the rest of Canada. While the exact birthplace of poutine is a heated debate between 4 different towns, in Quebec City, poutine can be traced back to 1972 when Ashton's Snack Bar popularized it by adding it to their menu. Ashton's was also the inventor of the Galvaude, by the way. Well, now it's become Canada's national dish. If it's not made with the cheese curds and fresh fries, especially the cheese curds, don't get it. It's not worth it. Wait for your trip to Quebec.
La poutine, c'est alright!
So today we explored the more traditional dishes in Quebec City, but there's so much more to discover because Quebec's cuisine continues to evolve, drawing on global influences, modern techniques, and fresh local ingredients. That being said, let me know what your favorite Quebecois dish is. And if I overlooked any must-try spots, feel free to share your personal recommendations down in the comments below. Have a great trip to Quebec City and see you on the next adventure.